Hello and welcome to 8.2 Health Consultation. In this PowerPoint I'll be analysing and evaluating Client 2 and giving recommendations. To begin with, there are constants and choices for the client to think about. Constants are things that they cannot control, for example gender, and choices are things that you can control, for example their weight. Here we have Client 2's heart rate. It is at 74 beats per minute. And as you can see, against the normative data, this is categorised as average or just below average. Next, we have their blood pressure. This is at 132/85. Against the normative data, we can see that this is a pre-high blood pressure. Here is the client's body mass index. This is at 9.7, underweight according to the normative data. Next is my client's waist to hip ratio. From the normative data chart, we can see that this is excellent. Finally, we have the lung function test. My client achieved 520. This is very low for my client's height and age. As part of my analysis, I evaluated and recommended the sections which are laid out on previous slides. These were goals, physical activity, nutrition, lifestyle, and physical health. Firstly, the evaluation. Goals. My client had a specific but basic goal that he wished to achieve over the time that he spent with me. He wanted to gain more muscle mass in his arms and legs and also wanted to become more active over the weekend period. The goal is an outcome goal and can be easily achieved with commitment. For the goal aspect, I recommend that we look more into training and building muscle mass. We can do this through short-term goals, which the client has previously said that he is more likely to achieve. We can also set goals for the end of each week that he can build towards, which is much easier to achieve these goals. Next was physical activity. My client's occupation unfortunately gets in the way of his daily activity as he is sat for around 8 hours a day. He does do a 3-mile run every morning, 7 days a week. He is sat on the tube for his commute, which is for over an hour and a half. This is twice a day and 5 times a week. He does also not have a gym membership. I recommend that he sets reminders on his phone throughout the day to ensure that he is as active as possible. I've also suggested that joining a gym will help with commitment and help with building muscle mass in the body. Nutrition. My client's nutrition and daily food intake is a downfall in terms of his health and well-being. He doesn't eat regular meals throughout the day. He snacks on cereal bars which are sugary. This is a substitute to a proper meal. He has also suggested to me that his favourite meal was soup. I recommend that during evenings he prepares a meal for breakfast and for lunch. This ensures that there is no hassle for the next morning. These meals can be taken to work to avoid snacking. And I've also suggested that as long as the 3 meals were consumed every day and that they were healthy, that snacking could be okay. This is also as long as it is healthy. For example, this could be a piece of fruit or nuts. Lifestyle. Unfortunately, my client binge drinks every weekend. He does get around 7 to 8 hours sleep every night, which is good, but then he does have a stressful job in London for which he has to commute to. Firstly, I recommend that my client avoids binge drinking at the weekend. This can cause unwanted liver problems for the future. A substitute to alcohol could be a soft drink or even water. He could even moderate his drinking significantly. I've also suggested that reading or listening to music on his commute can reduce stress. Stress can lead to problems later in life which can be avoided through these things. Physical health. After evaluating my client, I found no underlying issues with his health and there is nothing that needs to be addressed. Therefore, there are no recommendations that follow. I also evaluated my client's health tests and checks and gave strengths and areas for improvement. Firstly, his resting heart rate. This was 74 beats per minute, which is an average heart rate for the age of my client. This can also be improved to a more athletic heart rate of 55 to 60 beats per minute through continued cardiovascular exercise, which I know my client already does. Next was his blood pressure. This was at 133/85. This is an area for improvement as it is a pre-high blood pressure. A way to improve this could be through a healthier diet, previously stated, and also reducing his sodium intake. Next was my client's body mass index. This was categorised as underweight. This is for sure an area for improvement, as Paul has a poor diet, which is a probable cause of this. I recommended a new diet plan and for Paul to continuously watch what he eats. Although my client's waist to hip ratio is deemed excellent, any lower would be deemed unhealthy. Therefore, the diet previously discussed will help with this. Lastly was the lung function test. This was at 520, which is low for my client's age and height, but something that can be improved through the cardiovascular exercise Paul already does. Here are the overall evaluations I've gathered for Paul's well-being. Firstly, his lifestyle. This includes alcohol. Paul does not drink throughout the week, but when he does drink, it's at the weekend. He arrives with his friends and tends to binge drink. Secondly, nutrition. This includes his meals and snacking. Paul often does not eat regular meals and snacks on sugary cereal bars throughout the day. Third and lastly, his lifestyle again. This includes his occupation and stress. Paul works a stressful job and has to commute to London every day. This isn't good for his well-being. Now I have some recommendations for Paul and how to achieve them. Firstly, the lifestyle. This includes the alcohol. Instead of binge drinking at the weekend, Paul could try to drink in moderation. He needs to be careful about how much alcohol is being drunk at one time, as this is very unhealthy for the body, and lots of hard binge drinking can affect the liver and cause alcohol poisoning. For example, drinking soft drinks or even water will improve Paul's health and reduce liver failure for the future. He could also think about going out once a month instead of every weekend. This will improve his health. Secondly, his nutrition. This time we're focusing on the meals and his snacking. I've recommended that Paul needs to set reminders on his phone for meal times throughout the day. Examples of healthy meals recipes are on the internet and they're easily accessible. I recommend that he looks at these and begins to learn how to make them. This can be done in the evening to prepare for the morning and for the lunch. He also needs to stop snacking on sugary cereal bars. Snacking can be healthy in moderation, and if you're eating the correct things. A healthy, easy and cheap snack could be a banana. Third and lastly, his lifestyle. This we're looking at occupation and stress. I recommend that Paul make sure he gets 8 hours of sleep every night. This can help focus the mind and relieve stress. On his tube commute into work, he can tackle work or jobs that need to be done, or even listen to music to help himself relax. Meditation is really good for relieving stress. I recommend 10 to 15 minutes a day of meditation to calm down. There are apps that Paul can download to remind him to do this daily.